Well, the story of the game from my perspective is we got 11 stops on our last 13 possessions, and that, or I think it was 11 on 14, something like that. And it gave us a chance to cut into that lead a little bit, and I think it's pretty clear, although it's a long process and, you know, you're just adding more practices to their plate. I think it's pretty clear that deep down in their hearts, there's no way they want to be done. And we made the requisite plays late to continue the season. Duran was simply the man going down the stretch. Jordy hit some really big shots. I'm glad I almost called a timeout because that ball was kind of loose over there. Yeah, it would probably, honestly, if I had to do it over again, not knowing the outcome, I probably would have taken the timeout. I didn't take it in part because I wanted to have 2 timeouts so we could continue going offense for defense, so we could call timeout, get a guy in, call timeout, get a guy out. But that's playing pretty fast and loose when you just need points at that time. Jordy's got a flair for the dramatic, man. How many is that this year? The daggers late in games, and I will crank her up and get her ready to go again against Morehead State. But it was, I think we're getting our money's worth out of this tournament in terms of exciting endings. I would say that's true. And every time you go down a stretch like that as a group and successfully navigate it and win the game, there's confidence that's built, and that above all is all you could hope for out of this.
Coach, when you guys were done with the team, kind of happened after there were a lot of bodies on the floor. Kenny got caught up a little.
Yeah, you know, again, I think that was the moment where we kind of got hit in the mouth. And I'll tell you what, I've played Morehead State before. They hit you in the mouth early, so hopefully we'll wake up a little bit earlier. But it's hard to keep energy up when you're a team that just shoots the heck out of the ball all year long from 3, and you're sitting there at about a 2 for 16 burger midway through the second half. And you could see our intensity pick up as shots started to go in, not just threes, but other field goals as well. And again, Duran, big catalyst to that. But if you shelled out the extra $20 to come to the last 2 games, I hope you enjoyed them, because they were both very, very fun and rewarding to be a part of.
Coach, when I talked to Tony, he kind of mentioned this team, UNCG, kind of reminds him of Buffalo and Akron. Was there a moment in this game where you saw them making just 3 after 3, and you think to yourself, oh crap, we've been here before, we've lost to Buffalo and Akron?
Honestly, the last thing in my mind was Buffalo and Akron. I was trying to figure out how to stop UNC-Greensboro. You know, we made an emphasis in this game to try to contest. I thought we did, at times, a sketchy job of doing that against Marvin Smith. But old Deontay Baldwin, he hit some tough ones. I would say that overall, our overall defensive intensity really, really turned on a dime when things got a little bit chippy in the game. And like I say, thank goodness they didn't. It also, we went with the smaller lineup with Kyrie in place of Kenny, and that was a majority of those 13 possessions toward the end of the game where we got stops. So it's a rewarding win in that you got some contributions from a lot of different people again, and some of them might not get the credit. But Ree coming in and kind of stabilizing us defensively made a big difference for us. There's no question.
You're down 15 with 7:45 left. It's the 34th game of the year. You've been at it for 6 months. What is it about this group that allowed them to find another year or to ramp it back up?
They clearly watched the Texas A&M game last night, right? They just don't like losing. Whether it's, if you get into a pickup game with our guys at the ping, our guys are going to come after you. That's just the way it is. I mean, they don't like to lose at anything. And I think that's a characteristic that isn't easily cultivated, but it's a characteristic that made them work really hard over the summer. It's a characteristic that made them understand that they have to come together as a group. It's a characteristic that allows them to share the ball willingly with others and not really care who gets the credit, just try to get it done. I'd be remiss if I did not say a huge congratulations to Jerron. He broke a record that a lot of Bobcat fans probably didn't think would fall. And my recollection of DJ's from a distance, but certainly he was one of the best of all time to ever play here. Records are made to be broken, and Jerron was a beneficiary of playing on a team with a lot of good shooters, a lot of good players. But he's a special point guard. There's no question about it. And he makes me a better coach. I know that.
Coach, talk about Harley. You got to see those big minutes down the stretch after. He's been kind of off and on as far as health-wise this whole season. So how do these minutes in a game like this affect his confidence?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that we got playing really well without him in the lineup for a while there, and I made the move. I made a move. Throughout the whole time, I can't begin to tell you, for those of you that were at practice understand it, but how hard he played in practice every day when not feeling 100%. It's one thing to come out and suck it up for 40 minutes of game time action. It's another one to not get any playing time, turn around, come to practice, and then just go lay it out all out on the floor. It makes me happy to see him succeed because he did it without complaining, and he did it without his attitude was, hey, we're winning. That's an attitude you have to have in a program because you have 13 scholarships and 13 kids aren't going to play. Shoot, I've watched our manager team play, and I could cut their rotation by 2 or 3 guys too. You know, you don't play everyone available to you just because they're there. You go with what wins. And I'd bench Pritzl right away, by the way, but that's a whole other issue. Yeah, too many shots. You've seen it. You've seen the act. Distraction in the locker room, the whole works.
When Jordan's shot went up, was that one of those oh no, oh yes?
He didn't have much of a choice, given the score and time. Like I say, all I was thinking is, oh no, I should have taken a timeout, and then whap. But as far as his shot, we were kind of out of time. I could have called timeout, and we could have ran the play that the Badgers ran last night. We got that in the arsenal. Which, by the way, Bo Ryan invented that play in his backyard with my able young assistant, Will Ryan, playing football with his brother. And Bo was all-time quarterback, and they'd run into the corner of the end zone. They'd do a circle, and they'd break out in different directions, and it baffled children throughout the greater Platteville area for years. And it's just funny to see it run in a game that decides whether you go to a Sweet 16 or not. But we do have that play in. We call it Hurricane, they call it Wagon Wheel. I like my name better. I think it's hotter. I think it's sexier.
Coach, where does this, coming from 15 down with under 8 minutes to go, where does this comeback rank as far as all the ones you've had in your coaching?
Boy, I think we were down 12 pretty late. My first NCAA tournament, my first Summit League championship game, that would rank up there. But no, just the fact that you're down 15 with 7, there's only so many possessions left, right? And so you're doing math in your head as a coach. What do we have to do? Okay, we've got to attack quicker because possessions have to be shorter, so there's more of them. We've absolutely got to get stops because if they score on so many of them, it's like playing match play golf. Eventually you run out of holes if you don't do something positive. That's kind of the mindset. And I'm used to losing in golf. I just would rather lose in golf than basketball.
Anything changed defensively? Is that a 1-2 thing down the stretch?
Oh, yeah.
Where you couldn't get stops before? And then
Some of it was personnel based. I mean,
you mentioned Kyrie.
Yeah, and it was, they were playing closer to 4 guards, and we were playing closer to 3 forwards. And so there were some matchup issues. But I do think the underlying thing, I think Tony was much more active defensively underneath down the stretch. I think he was more insistent on his hedge, on the ball screen down the stretch. Jerron just turns it up, man. He just gets into you all of a sudden. He thought Jordy was really good. In fact, at one point we switched. We had Kyrie chasing Alonzo around, and Alonzo was so good moving without the ball. Kemp goes, I think we got to switch Dardis and Kyrie because Kyrie can't breathe anymore. So we switched them, but it still allowed us to guard a dribbler, a penetrator with an athletic wing. So it was good. I thought UNC-Greensboro played a very clean game. They only turned it over 8 times. I thought they took good shots. I thought they shot it pretty well. And I think it took everything we had. You look at their record and you go, well, look at their recent record. They've been a real good team down the stretch here, and that's why they're in this thing, and we get to play another day, and I'm very grateful for that. I enjoy coaching this team, therefore I would like to coach them as long as I can. That's my philosophical outlook on it.